Yo, what is up, guys? It's Pedro here, and Adam Peters is absolutely dealing. The Washington Commanders are signing former Seahawks linebacker Bobby Wagner to a one-year deal. We're going to break down the contract and what this means for the Commanders linebacking core, the defense, and Jamin Davis. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and that notification bell as well so you don't miss any free agency update videos. Man, I was not expecting this, and every time I think that the Washington Commanders are done making these big moves, Adam Peters surprises me. So was taking a quick nap and then wake up and get a bunch of texts from friends and stuff that, oh, Washington signs Bobby Wagner. So let's break it down. 1 year deal with a max value of $8.5 million, $6 million in guarantees. Bobby Wagner is his own agent, so this was all him. He wanted to, join the Washington Commanders, even though it's a 1 year deal and he's a little bit older. I think he was on that Super Bowl team, so he has a ring. And, he went back to Seattle after going to the Rams. But, hey, he wants to reunite with Dan Quinn. So he was with Dan Quinn in Seattle and linebackers coach Ken Norton. So has some familiarity there. This linebacking core went from being probably the worst linebacking core in a while. And sorry if there's a background buzzing noise. I don't know what that is in this building. But we went from having one of the worst linebacking cores in the NFL, probably the worst, to at minimum, I would say a good linebacking core, and maybe even better than that. We have Jamin Davis, who is a solid linebacker, maybe can be better than that with the right development. Maybe can be a little bit more of a pass rusher. We'll see if that happens. But you got Bobby Wagner, who just came off in 100. Like people who haven't been paying attention, they're gonna be like, he's washed 183 tackles last year. And I know tackles don't mean everything, but he was a stud last year, and he's been a stud. He's going to be a Hall of Fame linebacker, I believe. 183 tackles, an absolute stud. And then you bring in Frankie Louvu, who also is a good linebacker as well. You bring those guys in, and Jeremy Chin, who, isn't a linebacker, but he can play, he's a good box player. He can play, hybrid between linebacker and, strong safety. So, I mean, it's just a very good linebacking core, I believe, right now. And Ron Rivera did nothing to address the position besides he drafted Jamin Davis, which I didn't think was the right pick at the time, and signed a couple guys like David Mayo and Cody Barton. And in 1 or 2 days, we completely transformed this linebacking core. You got to take PFF with a grain of salt, but 91.5 run defense grade, second amongst linebackers in 2023, 48 stops in the run game, second, 82.4 PFF grade. If you know anything about PFF, anything about 70 is good, 80 is outstanding. So he is still an absolute stud. Absolute stud. And, probably his weakness is coverage, but he's still not, terrible in it. Look at his stats. 3.5 sacks this past year. I mean, we'll just look at all of it. 183 tackles, 96 solo tackles, 3.5 sacks, 1 fumble recovery, and didn't have any interceptions. He's never been a huge interception guy, but does have 13 in his career with 1 touchdown. And let's see if he had any forced fumbles this year. No forced fumbles. Also not a big forced fumble guy in his career, but can still get, to the quarterback, and the tackles are there. And one of the biggest things too, he's a, leader. He's been in this league for so long, and, since 2012, that's what, 11 seasons he's played in this league. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 full seasons. This will be his 13th season in the league. He'll be your Mike linebacker. He knows the defense pretty much that Dan Quinn's going to be running, because I'm assuming it's going to be similar to what he ran in Seattle, or I guess Joe Witt, the defensive coordinator, but he's going to be running what Dan Quinn wants him to run. And yeah, I'm assuming he's going to know the defense, which is good, and he knows what to expect from Ken Norton and Dan Quinn and some of these other guys as well. And then you got Frankie Louvu in there as well as a linebacker, and then Jamin Davis. And some people are like, Jamin Davis is done here. He might be. I don't think so, but I think this could also mean they use him a lot more as an edge rusher than, we have been using him in the past. That's kind of how I took this, and I hope they do, because Jamin Davis is super athletic, and he's strong, he's quick, he's big, he can get to the quarterback, and they haven't been using him that way, but you can see at times like he has that ability, And I think Dan Quinn, Joe Witt, and all these guys can get that out of him. Is he going to be Micah Parsons? Heck no. But he could maybe be a guy that gets you 6-7 sacks and turns into more of an outside linebacker and, rushing the passer more than when we drafted him. We were thinking, okay, this guy's going to be a middle linebacker. 6 foot, 242. That's what Bobby Wagner is. 33 years old. So obviously up there in age. This isn't a long-term signing. Even though when we signed London Fletcher, I think he was about this age, maybe even a year older. So it's not like Bobby Wagner can't play, or he can't be here for more than just this year. It is a 1-year deal, and he even tweeted we've done this before Seattle. Maybe I'll be back one day. So obviously it's not like a long-term commitment here to DC. We're not paying him a lot either. And the thing is with these 1-year deals, you are taking up a lot of cap space for this year because you can't really spread it out amongst other years and different types of signing bonuses and stuff. I mean, I'm not a cap expert, but you look at these cap hits and the 3, 4-year, 5-year deals are much less each year usually, especially the first year, than a 1-year deal because, again, you can't spread that money around. But also, the good thing about the 1-year deal is it's a 1-year deal. As long as you don't do a void year at the end, that is going to be it. It's going to be a 1-year deal, so you don't have to commit to money in the future. You're not tying up money to the future for Bobby Wagner, who's a little bit up there. It's a 1-year deal, so next year it'll be $0 million against the cap once he's gone. And you know what else? If he balls out this year, has a big year, and he leaves, we'll get a comp pick. We're not going to get a single comp pick next year because, we just signed 13. This is 12th or 13th free agent we've signed, so we're not going to get any comp picks. But the year after that, we have so many guys that we're signing right now that the year after is when we could get some comp picks because a lot of these guys are going to leave and get some big contracts. And some of them will stay, but, Jeremy Chin, 1-year deal. Bobby Wagner, 1-year deal. Clelin Ferrell, that's a 1-year deal. I'm trying to think of what else. Dante Fowler might be a 1-year deal. Not completely sure on there, but a lot of, there are some deals like Dorrance Armstrong, that's a 3-year deal. Tyler Biotish, that's a 3-year deal. Frankie Louvu, that's a 3-year deal. There's a lot of 3-year deals in there as well, but there are 1-year deals as well. So next year we could get some comp picks, but the defense is turning into it's shaping up to be a solid defense right now. Just on paper, the players, and you consider the coaching that they're going to get, hopefully a lot better than Ron Rivera and Jack Del Rio were the last couple years from Dan Quinn and Joe Witt and Ken Norr and all these guys. Ryan Kerrigan and a bunch of other decent coaches that we brought in or that Dan Quinn brought in. I think they have a chance to be a good defense. We still have to bring in some other guys, like the secondary needs some work, but at the same time it is a rebuild and not everything's going to be great this year. So I don't think we need to go out and sign these star corners. We don't need to trade for L'Jarius Sneed. If we do, I wouldn't be upset about it, but it's not a necessity. But I think it is a necessity to at least bring in one corner, free agent corner. If you want to draft one in the second round, third round, go ahead. But the defense is miles better on paper than it was at the end of last season. You brought in Bobby Wagner, stud. Frankie Louvu, stud. You brought in Dorrance Armstrong, who's a solid edge rusher. Brought in Dante Fowler. And I'm forgetting other guys as well. Clelin Ferrell. You're bringing in a bunch of decent players, and that's a lot better than what we've had. So I'm really excited about this, and I'm happy that Adam Peters is running things the way a lot of fans would have the last few years. And that's not always a good thing, but if you see a lot of what the fans were saying, or at least some of the smart fans were saying that the Commanders need to do, they didn't do it and ended up hurting them, committing to the linebacker position, or at least addressing it, offensive line. They didn't do it, and that really hurt them in the long run under Ron Rivera. But yeah, that's it for today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and peace.